I want you to do this exercise with me, okay? Black people, do this exercise with me. What's up, man? Very good, man. Good to see you. Right. Yeah. Do this with me. I want you to think of the three. What's up, brother, man? Good to see you. What's up, guys? Three smartest black people that you know. All right? People that you look up to. People that you envision yourself being one day. People that inspire you. Three greatest ones that you know. Okay, you got them in your head? Okay. Now tell me this. Would you want any of those three people to be the president, prime minister, or the ruler of your nation? Any of those three people, all right? Talking to black folk now. And if the answer is no, that the three most intelligent, the three most impressive, the three most impactful black people that I know of in my life, famous, anybody, they can't run the country that you live in, then you need to start reevaluating who you give the credential of being one of the greatest black people in your life. You need to reevaluate that. Because clearly, my pleasure. Clearly what you've done is you have misappropriated the intellectual property and the quality of black people in the world. That's what you've done. What's up, bro? I'm gonna sit and eat, okay? Just for what? So this is a problem. This is an issue. And I want to talk about it with you. Thanks, bro. I have one guy that I've made up my mind that is absolutely somebody that I consider to be one of the smartest men that I've come across. And I believe very firmly that he's a person in respect to the United States of America who should be the president. I have also one person in Canada that I believe firmly, one of the smartest people I know, it's a woman actually, who should run this country. And I do not draw from an intellectual reservoir from people who I feel do not have the capacity to lead me. Doesn't make sense. How are you, love?
Good, how are you?
I like this one.
Sure, with white rye or brown toast?
Rye, please.
Okay.
How are you, my friend? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute. And so you can't lead me. You can't become a mentor. You can't become somebody that I idolize. If I look at you and say, hey, this person doesn't have the capacity, the wherewithal to lead even a small country that I live in. So I need you guys to investigate a guy by the name of Robert Smith. I've spoken about him before. Vista, I believe it's Vista Investments. And then I need you to examine a woman in Canada by the name of Leslie and Lewis. Two very smart black people who have the capacity to lead. Leslie has tried. She's actually an MP, a Minister of Parliament, and she's tried to be the leader of her party. To the chagrin of many, her constituency did not agree. Robert Smith, though, who is both a scientist and an investment banker, what a brain that guy has, he has the capacity to be a true presidential candidate in the United States. And so, when I asked this question of myself, I did this. I said, I'm impressed with Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm impressed with T.D. Jakes. I'm impressed with you know, and another couple names. Thank you very much. I had another couple names that I was thinking about, and I said to myself, I don't know if I'd want any of those people to actually be the president of the United States. I had Roland Martin in my head. I had the professor from Princeton. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head right now. Very smart brother. He wears the scarf all the time. You know who I'm talking about. His name will come to me in a minute. And I had all these people in my head, and I said, but would I want these individuals to run the country? Do they have the balance and the plethora of speciality to be a leader? And this is my concern now. Let me flip this, right? I'm only gonna be here a few more minutes. When we look at white men or women, but when we look at the white community who chooses to run the country, we don't ask of ourselves, and neither do they, is this guy the smartest guy? Is she the smartest person? Does she have the best ideas? No. Why do black people and white people alike like Donald Trump? We don't believe he's the richest. We know that's not the case. We don't think he's the best businessman because we know he's gotten bankrupt multiple times. We don't think he's the smartest. What is it about us that chooses literally, and this is crazy. This is since Reagan, but chooses these actors, these cultural actors, to be our leaders, and we're not looking for true grit. We're not looking for the true ingredients that make people actual leaders, and we're not holding ourselves accountable to new information and more ideas. I had somebody tell me the other day, you're afraid of change, and they were saying it in a supportive way, and but my response to them was, I think everyone should be afraid of change, because change isn't always good. I think what we should not be afraid of is education and information, and we are living in a world right now where there is no, and listen to the end of this sentence, okay? There is no people less informed than black people. There is no people less informed than black people, right? Let's go to Africa, where black people run those nations for the most part, and some Arabs, but the countries that are run by black people. How many African nations run by black leaders? How many of them have nuclear power? How many of them? And let's go from nuclear weapons to even a nuclear power plant. How many of them? How many African nations, sovereign African nations, have nuclear power? Whether it be weaponry or whether it be power plants. How many Caribbean nations bigger than Israel? Israel has nuclear weapons, nuclear power. Israel, very small, little tiny nation. How many Caribbean nations, good Caribbean nations, nations like my own Trinidad and Tobago, have anywhere close to the capacity to have nuclear armament or nuclear even reactors, that plants or anything? Why are we always behind in information? We are the least informed people on the planet, and we are kept that way. And anytime anybody pushes the envelope to push us to a place of prominency, they wind up dead. From Gaddafi, who is not a black person, he's an Arab, but he tried to unite the African countries, all the way back to King, to Malcolm, to anyone else who is trying to push an agenda of true empowerment. They end up dead, or what has happened is that the people that are pushed to the forefront are those that are pushing a soft, pacifist, subservient, non-militaristic lack of information agenda. Why? Why is that the case? And so what you and I need to look at in my closing statement here is we need to look at what do we put a premium on when it comes to leaders, when it comes to people who are informing us, when it comes to people who we want to follow, when it comes to people who we put in a position to impress upon us their ideologies. Why and what are the reasons that we elevate some and simply do not see others? Our community is bankrupt of true leadership for this generation. And our leaders can no longer simply be statesmen, people who have great speeches, even individuals like myself. We cannot be considered to be leaders until we have the capacity to actually make the machine work in our favor, to cause fear in the eyes of our enemies, to shake up the ground under us, to allow nations and peoples to say we must take them seriously because they are dangerous, because they are informed, because they are educated. And until we get to that level, we are no more than a slave who has been let out of his cage and allowed to wander around the plantation freely, because they know that we do not have the capacity to wander into another space and build anything that allows us to be sustained on our own. We are addicted to an oppressor who has created a utopian society full of distractions and wonderful toys and music and entertainment and feeding you an amount of money to keep you pacified, because they realize that if we can keep them distracted, they're never going to be dangerous, they're never going to be formidable, they're never going to infringe upon what we have put them in, and our tyranny and our dominance will remain forever. You individuals have to know that if we are sitting here and we still in Florida cannot have universities teach our own history, that freedom is fictional. That's my time. It's Del K. Brereton. And that's the name of the game. That's the name of this message. Your freedom is fictional.